So it's the trailer show. We're doing
Trailers.
We're going to talk about a trailer. Mm-hmm. This one's a bittersweet one. This one is sad because we no longer have this fascinating person among us.
Mm-hmm. It was a tragedy.
Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain.
Right.
You know, when I read his book, Kitchen Confidential, I feel like that changed my life. Like I read that and my whole mindset shifted about restaurants. Like I feel like I was seeing something brand new. I was seeing something I hadn't even heard of or thought of, like the people working in the kitchens and how he rose to fame, and fascinating. I mean, just everybody needs to read that book. And it's fun to listen to the actual audiobook because he narrates it also. So you get to hear him telling his own story. Really, really strong stuff. And I can see why. And it's funny because he wasn't necessarily like a chef.
Right.
He was almost more a personality, and he was whole into that whole atmosphere of the partier and the, just
He's
trying
more
to
of
put
a
on
traveler from what I remember. Like it was about travel, the stuff that I saw with him.
Well, his TV show eventually, but when he started, he worked in restaurants.
Right.
He was like, he had a restaurant. He was a chef. He did the whole thing, which led, in a way, he sort of fell into this TV show thing. Like they said, hey, we should do a TV show with you. And he basically threw back at him like, yeah, I want to travel. So we're going to travel and eat. So if you don't like that idea, too bad. And they went, sounds good. And he was just kind of shocked that he had this job.
Well, that's the thing is I love to travel and I love to eat. I love good food. And one of the things I think, sadly, when people travel, one of the things that they sometimes talk about not liking is the food where they go. But the thing is, you really need to get yourself to be able to eat the food of the place that you're going, because that's such a part of the culture and it's part of the experience. And one thing I think, that seems a little scary at first, like when you go to a place like Thailand, which it's a country that I've been to more than any other country other than America. And Thailand has the best street food. And it's like when you watch Anthony Bourdain's show, he would do that. He'd go to the street vendors and go to the people cooking food in the street, because that's where you find the real thing. And when you go to Bangkok or anywhere in Thailand, really, you're going to find food within arm's reach just about everywhere you go on the street. And you walk, the smell of that country is like the smell of good food. That's what I think about. And that's a good thing to be open to. And when you watch him, he kind of made it cool, I think, to try things, even if they're weird, or even if they're like scary or not like what you eat at home. It's not going to be like Applebee's. It's something else, and it's something better if you really open yourself. And I think that's a good thing that he did from what I remember of him, of his shows. I didn't read his book or anything, but I think I want to.
Yeah, definitely. It's if you have trouble, like even just while you're working, to have that on in the background, like listening to this book, if you can't find time to read it, it's definitely worth it, because he's a fascinating person. And my only thing with travel and food is like I don't eat meat, so I have to kind of find the authentic experiences without heavy meat. Like I can only eat fish, but he, in a way, like he was very meat heavy. He was very, very much into the meat thing. I wish that he'd leaned a little more the other way too, a little more open to it, because I feel like there's a lot of cuisine that's like really spectacular that isn't necessarily meat, but he was definitely on that vein.
But you can eat fish, right?
Yeah.
So that leaves the entire the entirety of Asia is fine for you, I think, because there's so much fish there. And
that's right.
Like you go to, like I was talking about Thailand, there's so much fish and seafood and things like that. And the shrimp are like this big.
That's probably too big for me, but
like a lobster.
So we're going to take a look at this trailer, and it's called Roadrunner. It's about Anthony Bourdain, and it's directed by Morgan Neville. All right,
cool.
It was almost never about food. It was about Tony learning how to be a better person.
You're probably going to find out about it anyway. So here's a little preemptive truth-telling. There's no happy ending.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Chef Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain.
Anthony Bourdain, the renowned chef and best-selling author of Kitchen Confidential.
All the TV chefs are so cuddly and adorable, maybe I'm the antidote or something.
Has a new program, Parts Unknown.
1 minute I was standing next to a deep fryer, and the next I was watching the sunset over the Sahara. What am I doing here? I said earlier that I was going to tell you the truth. This is part of it.
It was almost never about food. It was about Tony learning how to be a better person.
When he threw himself into something, he threw himself completely.
Why am I here? Am I insane?
He was like, life's about finding a cliff worth jumping off. I'm gonna look for something feral and wild.
He was a traditional romantic.
Reality was never going to live up to exactly how he pictured it.
Hey, what's up, man?
He was always rushing to get into the scene. He was rushing to get out of the scene, to go somewhere next, even if he had nowhere to go.
He was definitely searching for something.
You were successful, and I am successful, and I'm wondering, are you happy?
I know how hard that must have been for him to reach out to someone and be like, hey man, I'm not doing well.
Nothing feels better than going home. And nothing feels better than leaving home. The bittersweet curse.
Travel isn't always pretty. You go away, you learn. You get scarred, marked, changed in the process.
You inspire so many people with the show. You have a good karma.
Good karma?
I think so. Well,
Some of you might ask, how is this food related? If I know.
That just makes me so sad.
I know, and the mention in there about how some people don't let you know that they need help, and the outward appearance, you think, oh, he's successful, he's got money, he's on television, he's a celebrity, and he travels all the time, and it's like, what could possibly be wrong with him? What could he possibly be sad about?
Yeah,
it's like Robin Williams, so many people
very similar to that.
Yeah.
And it's like he, even in his book, he's very open about, like, he was a total partier back when he was in that chef phase. And it sounds like he had a lot of demons, and a lot of it, like, I love the line in there where they talk about, like, he was always rushing to get in and rushing to get out, like someone who's just running away.
I know what that means. When I heard
totally
that, I was like, I know that.
It's like, oh yeah.
Eesh.
And then I love too the whole message was great, where it's like, be a traveler, not a tourist.
Yeah.
That little taped up sign.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about him, is like, it wasn't always like, when he was doing his show, it wasn't always about like, we're going to get the best food ever, it's gonna be the best thing ever. It's like, some of the stuff was really hard, some of it wasn't great, some of it was like kind of challenging. And I like that it was like, your experience as a traveler isn't all fun and games. Some of it's just having an experience, good or bad, that changes you in a way. So I really liked his attitude about that.
Yeah.
And it's sad that we had to lose someone like that.
Yeah. And the experience, talking about the experience of travel, food is such a part of other cultures. And one of the things, there's two kinds of people, and I don't understand one kind. And it's people who travel and they go to a new place and they immediately start looking for their own stuff there. Yeah. Like, they immediately want to find the most American hotel. They want to find the American food. Mm-hmm. I want to find something, I want to go shopping at the very American type mall, like they go, I know people who will go to, again, I'll mention Thailand. They'll go to Thailand and they'll go to Bangkok and they'll go to the fanciest mall and they'll go to, Sephora or something, or, well, I don't know the names of the stores, but
Sephora?
Yeah, whatever. And Chanel and whatever.
That's the girls' candy store.
Yeah. But it's like, you're in Bangkok, can't you go to that place in Beverly Hills, or, when you get home?
People are afraid of the unknown, it's like the food they haven't had before, or the products or stores or locations they haven't seen before. And but see, that's a part I love. Like, I've gotten to the point where I almost don't like to go to visit cities in other countries, even though, because I want to see something completely new, because I live in one of the biggest cities in the world. Like, I want to see something new. And that was fun about, Anthony Bourdain, he was all about adventure too. So he was like, I want to see something I haven't seen. I want to eat something I haven't eaten. It's like, he was very adventurous that way. And so I loved his attitude, about all of that, like just finding the new experience, so I'm looking forward to and dreading this movie.
I know, it's kind of the same director did the Mr. Rogers documentary, which was also bittersweet and sad, because it was like, God, he's gone too. It's like, Fred Rogers was such a constant, and
why are the good people gone?
Yeah.
And it's like I loved how they used the kind of punk rock kind of soundtrack to this, because he was sort of the punk rock guy in that industry. Like, he wasn't the feel good safe guy. He was the kind of rebel,
Yeah, he was definitely the punk rock guy.
I loved it. So yeah, this looks really, really good and like really, really sad.
Yeah.
So everybody,
but you can get something from it. It's he did live while he lived, and he did live in a way that you can kind of maybe aspire to a little bit, at least parts of it. And he had a lot of great ideas that he shared while he was here, and turned a lot of people on to things like traveling in a way where, like you were saying, it's not all good, it's not all bad. You roll with it. You go and you end up coming home with an experience. I mean, even if you went through some rough times on your travels, or it wasn't all beautiful. It was maybe you went through some places that were dark and scary or sad, and saw some things that that changed you. You come home a better person.
Yeah.
And
I mean, some of my best experiences aren't the ones I planned for. They just happened, and some of them weren't necessarily the fun things. They were the kind of the powerful or emotional thing. I just wish Anthony Bourdain had been such a rush to leave.
Yeah, I know.
He just stayed a little bit.
We need you.
All right,
And
so that's our review. And
people that have those kind of feelings, I hope they get help. And tell your friends. Tell your friends.
People want to know. They do want to know. You don't look weak.
Yeah.
It's like you get help and stay.
Sometimes we lose people, and then you kind of wonder, did I not do enough for that person? And so if you have those feelings, there are people, your friends, want to help you. So I don't know. They do.
They do. So yeah, even just the trailer, is pretty emotional.
Yeah.
So yeah. Man, I'm sad now.
I know. But I'm going to see this movie. I'm going to watch it.
I'm definitely going to see this movie.
I think it's probably more uplifting. What's that?
Yeah, I'm going to go back and rewatch this show.
Yeah. So. I'll bet this movie is more uplifting than we might think.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more fun. It's just in the back of your mind knowing how it all ended is just depressing.
Yeah.
But his life in itself is fascinating. Yeah. And I highly recommend Kitchen Confidential. The book is incredible. So, okay, guys.
All right. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Is invaded by indestructible moon monsters.